Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Storytime with Uncle Monkey. I am your Uncle Monkey. Today's story is called Straw, Coal, and Bean. In a village, there lived a poor old lady who had assembled enough beans for a meal and was ready to cook them. So she made a fire in her little hearth, and to make it flare up faster, she ignited it with her last handful of straw. She poured the beans into the pot, but one of them got away from her without her noticing, and it landed on the floor next to a wisp of straw. Soon afterwards, a glowing coal leaped out of the fire, too, and joined them. Then the straw began speaking. "Dear friends, where have you come from?" The coal replied, "I fortunately escaped the fire, and if I hadn't exerted myself to do that, I would certainly have died. I would have burned to ashes." The bean said, "I managed to save my skin too, but if the old woman had put me in the pot, I would have been mercilessly cooked to gruel like my buddies." "Would I have enjoyed a better fate?" said the straw. "The old woman made all my brothers go up in fire and smoke. She grabbed 60 at one time, all the ones I knew, and killed them. Luckily, I slipped through her fingers." "But what should we do now?" said the coal. "I think," the bean replied, "that since we have so luckily escaped death, we should stick together like good companions and, to avoid a new catastrophe here, we should emigrate together and go to another country." The suggestion pleased the other two, and they set out together to find a new country. But they soon came to a small brook, and since there was no bridge or plank over it, they didn't know how to get across. The straw had an idea and said, "I'll lie down across it, and you can walk on over me as if I was a bridge." So the straw stretched from one bank to the other, and the coal, which had a fiery temperament, toddled quite boldly onto the new-made bridge. But when it reached the middle and heard the water babbling beneath it, it got scared all the same. It stopped short and didn't dare continue. Because of this, the straw started to burn, broke in two, and fell into the brook. The coal slid after it, hissed as it hit the water, and gave up the ghost. The bean, which had cautiously remained on the bank, had to laugh at the event. It didn't know how else to deal with the sadness it felt. It couldn't stop laughing, and it laughed so hard it cried, and it laughed so hard it burst. Now the bean, too, would have been done for, had not a wandering tailor on his journeyman travels fortunately been resting on the bank, and seen everything. Because he had a compassionate heart, he took out his needle and thread, and sewed the bean back together again. The bean thanked him most politely, but since he had to use black thread, ever since that day, beans have had a black seam. The end.